So, Nick, here's the problem at hand. So I'd love to get some consulting / advice, and I'd love to demonstrate your model because I think it's a really good model. So here's what I was thinking is, you know, my greatest fear about technology and the trajectory is that people who are developing these programs usually don't have the core, they have the core values, but they're not necessarily empowered to use them. Love, compassion, you know, those kinds of things, connectiveness. The problem that I see is, how do you start developing technology that is focused on love? And so I've been working on coming up with some applications, you know, mobile apps, different types of applications, which would be focusing on love. Now, the problem is how do you make money doing that, right? You know, it's easy to write a video game that's about violence and competitiveness and, you know, all these kind of things that kind of relate to our survival instinct, which you're saying. It's like, how would you map through this model?
There's a couple of things to say there. So you're kind of creating a couple of different problems for me to solve. One's like an innovation problem, which is how do you develop technology with love in it and wisdom in it, and that's something I too am very passionate about. The company I've created recently is essentially a media and technology company for love and wisdom. And so that's kind of a question that I sit with a lot. And the second problem, which is a separate problem, which is how do you make money from consciousness ultimately? And so here's a great segue. I'm about to launch in about 6 weeks a 12-month program called the Switched On MBA, which is a virtual program for 2 webinars a month, which is specifically about how you take a feeling of consciousness and connectedness and awakeness and build an enterprise or career or project around it. And it goes through the J curve, the J-shaped curve, but it goes through it in 2 sort of ways. One is the business itself, the business idea, the business model, and how that works.
Wait, and before you go into it, tell us what the J curve is, so folks on the listening to what it is.
J-curve has become the sort of leitmotif of all my work, and I wasn't looking for one. It just sort of came to me. I remember one day about 5 years ago looking at the process I take organizations on for breakthrough, and looking at the process I take people on for breakthrough. I was like, hold on. I should have probably seen this earlier, but I was like, hold on. They both, to get to a higher place, they both go down before they go up. I.e., before you get the goodness, the joy, the breakthrough, the creativity, the awesomeness, the cool, crazy, amazing life, you have to be prepared to go down first
into chaos.
Your life, your being, your habits, your assumptions, your belief systems, your pain, your suffering. Let it go, and then you can come up. And you can come up higher than you went originally. So the J shape, so imagine, if you're watching this, imagine a J. So you're somewhere, everywhere, you start a process, you're on the left-hand side of a J. You're not bad, and it's probably not good, and you want to break through. And you want to get high, up the other end of the J, which is super high. But here's the truth that I tell everyone who listens. Breakthrough, conscious breakthrough is not linear. It's non-linear. It's not a nice little from here to here. It's here, down first, and then up.
Okay, got it.
And basically, the kind of analogy is you've got to excavate before you innovate. You've got to dig up the old before you can have the new. And that's what a wisdom teacher would call, as I do, surrender. You've got to surrender the pain before you get Buddha nature, nirvana, whatever you call that thing, right? So that's the J-shaped curve. So the J-shaped curve for this work is you've got a business curve you're going on about what do I have to let go of from what I think about how business should be or what technology should be or what app should be. And then down there I'm going to find a way of doing new insights about doing technology for love. And I can guarantee they're there. And then, I'm going to come up and build it, build the project. And at the same time, in this Switched On MBA, we go, okay, but you as a leader, entrepreneur, have to go on the same day at the same time, because every time you hit a business challenge, it takes something from you, and it takes ultimately some shadow work, some pain work. You've got to let go of something. Otherwise, you don't get the breakthrough. So I don't know if any program like it in the world, I'm super excited because it brings these 2 businesses I run together for the first time fully. And basically, as I said to someone today, until you have a conscious revenue model, a conscious business model, a conscious way of making money, a livelihood, your life can't be fully conscious. because there'll always be something pulling you out into the old world of competition, money, status, whatever. So it's critical for the world to develop conscious business models, because otherwise we can't live, we can't feed our kids, we can't have the life we want.
Right.
So I'm super passionate about this stuff. But the key thing with all of it is you're only going to get the breakthrough when you let go of the beliefs and the feelings that hold the beliefs in place that have you think there's no possibility, no solution.
Okay, guys. So if I actually take I heard three different, you said when, in taking the example that we're going to walk through, how do you actually create technology with love? You're saying, one is kind of a marketing issue, like how do you communicate this new idea? The second problem is maybe a personal problem that I'm having with my own demons that I'm going to face, which I've actually have been facing since February, since I came up with the idea. They are. And then the third issue is, even when you do all those things, there needs to be a conscious, the problem is, how do you make money? What is the conscious business model that you actually put yourself through? So how would you, so let's take that one, because that's one I think that is the most tricky one. And I know you're going to have a whole workshop that sounds like the MBA that will handle this.
Yeah.
Or could you step me through the model? I don't know what's possible in the short period.
Well, the book you've got in your hand isn't designed to develop business models. It's a book for individuals to break through.
Right.
The business model stuff is a big conversation, right? Because there's lots of things going on in the business model. There's how big scale do you want? Do you want to run workshops for 5 people? Or do you want to have an app that works for 50 million people? You're going to have a different design, a different way of thinking, a different idea. Do you want people to be just middle class and upper middle class people to be able to access your app? Or do you want people in prisons and kids, at-risk youth to be able to access your app? So that's another issue, questions you've got to ask. Do you want your app to be more about well-being or more about wisdom? There's so many questions to ask in a business model, and each person's business model has to be unique to them, because there's only one person in the world who is that. And just so everyone's clear, a business model sounds like a crazy big complex thing that only businesses have. Every human being alive has a business model, and a business model is simply a design for how you take and exchange value in the world.
Okay, got it.
So if you have been working for a multinational for 20 years, your business model is, I go to work from 9 to 7, 8 to 9, whatever your thing is, and they pay me and they give me some benefits, and then I pay some tax, and so that's your business model, right? As soon as you get out of the system, your business model has to become more creative and more innovative. Freelancers have a slightly different one. Entrepreneurs obviously have a totally different one. So everyone's got a business model. The question is it has to hit 4 things for me. It has to hit profit. You need to make, someone has to pay for what you want.
Look, the universe is actually giving us reinforcement that this is important. It's ringing bells. Okay.
Someone has to pay for what you're selling. Someone. Second thing, is it planetary? Does it fit the planet? Does it use too much paper? Is it energy efficient? That kind of stuff. Third, does it help people? Is it socially powerful? Does it engage people? Do people like it? Does it empower people? Really key. And the fourth thing is it purposeful? Is it loving? Does it help you thrive? Because if you just have the first 3, you have really serious social enterprises and whatever, everyone's changing the world and making money. And it's like, well, hold on a minute, is it playful? Is it fun? Are we enjoying it? Is the ride good? So those are the 4 things that I look for in a business model. Super important to get them. And I believe, one fundamental belief, and this may be where the breakthrough is for your particular project and case, if you let go enough of your beliefs about the world and listen and talk to enough people, the people you want to serve with your technology, you have an insight about something they really value and need that you can deliver through technology that is bringing more love, compassion, connectedness, collaboration, goodness, purpose into the world, and they'll be willing to pay for it. And I can take the evidence of that because there are a number of businesses. I mean, Hey House is a business that makes money from people being awakened. There's a competitor of ours, a very successful app called Headspace, meditation app. They're worth 50 million quid. So you can do good work and make money. However, I will be really clear, one may not make as much money as one would do if one didn't care about the people, planet, and the purpose. So good old Apple, they make apparently 60-70% profit margin on iPhone. That's an enormous margin. Most companies in the world never see anything like that margin. And yet they have workers in China committing suicide in factories because people are working. I mean, if you've seen the pictures of where they work, it's all wearing white masks and just it's not a space for love, connection, and compassion. So I would say to Apple, listen, your stuff is great, people love you, but a lot of your younger target market particularly will probably feel a bit queasy about this. And actually, if you made a tiny bit less money, you still have 80 billion in reserves, whatever it is that you've got, which you can't even spend, you don't even know what to do with it. And then put 10% of that margin back into well-being and wisdom packages for your workers, you will long-term reap the rewards of it. You have employees who want to work for you. You will have customers that think you don't just create awesome technology, but you actually also care about the world. And that matters. I mean, it really matters. So the key thing is find an insight that empowers people, and build your product or technology or service around that empowering insight.
Yeah, so like if I even use you as a personal example, and what we were talking about in the very first segment is what you said is what people are looking for is innovation and breakthrough. That was was that the insight of like, people aren't looking for spirituality, like they kind of are, but like what the way that you get into these businesses because people want you to create innovation and breakthrough. So you're able to peddle your spirit stuff because that's the insight. Is that what you mean by the insight?
Well, kind of. I mean, so I have various different business models I'm running with. So for my Switch On stuff, my insight is people want spirituality that's can turn into reality. That's the kind of the basic insight of Switch On. They want it science driven. They want it. Not everyone. Some people are really happy with going to a workshop at Esalen or going to a Buddhist retreat, and that's great. You carry on doing that. For the other 2 million, 5 million, 10 million who don't want that, who don't want woo woo, and who don't want they don't want to give up. You don't want to give up the things about you that you really enjoy. You don't want to become new age, basically. You don't want to become hippie. I want you, because I've got stuff that you want. I've got, as you said, I've got a book, and I've got this MBA program. And these are all things that people want. So the MBA program, I make a lot more money teaching it to corporations or to Yale recently or whatever than I do on this program, but I can still make enough money, but do it consciously. So there's always a way of doing it, and it's so that's one thing. I run a sort of transformational dance experience. It's kind of 5 rhythms type thing, but a bit hipper, a bit sort of less sort of hippie and more hip. And again, the insight there is a lot of people that we're targeting don't want to meditate, particularly, but they love dancing. They've been raving for years, they love clubbing. Okay, great, let's take the clubbing format, 2-hour rave, take away the drugs, take away the alcohol, take away the evening, it's in the daytime, but keep the most amazing music. Most importantly, keep great music, keep awesome house music, hip hop, whatever, and then dot in little meditative visualization technology, the Jankel actually, and they'll have transformation, which they do, but they don't even know it. It's just like, this is awesome, fun party time, and I'm suddenly crying, and I'm letting go, and I'm partying. So that's another insight, right? People pay for that. People pay for exercise, they pay for dance, they pay for... So what I mean is you've got to find the way that you can deliver your most heartfelt spiritual purpose that you know is what's calling you, and work out how to package it, which is the marketing, as you said, and how to distribute it, which is sort of technology. Is it app, is it event, is it book, is it courses, is it radio show, whatever, or some combination of those, usually, that someone's going to pay for, somewhere in the system.
Right.
And it could be advertisers, it could be sponsors, it could be people themselves, it could be rich people, it could be a philanthropist, it could be, or many of those things.
Yeah, and I think what's interesting is in the example that you gave of your MBA that you're about to teach, that you could be making a lot. Let's face it. I mean, you could actually be charging a corporate client a ton of money, and you're going to be taking the same information that you would be coaching someone, a corporate client, and offering this to other, individuals. And so It's about saying, yeah, but the P times Q, like the P may not be as high, but the Q could be huge, right? So you'll make money, and who knows, maybe you'll make more money than the corporate engagements.
Right. And look, a Harvard MBA is $100,000 roughly, right? That's just for the tuition. My program is $1,000, but you don't have to come to Harvard. You can do it online. It's virtual. You get a learning group with other people you like, so peer to peer. I started recording videos so I can do more of it through video. So that, I don't have to charge that much because A, people can't afford it, and B, I don't need to make that kind of money. I don't need to have a massive old building in Cambridge, Massachusetts.
Right.
I don't need to have all those people on professors on what's it called on tenure.
Yeah.
And so that's looking for Uber and Airbnb. These are businesses that have said, hold on a minute, let's drop our assumptions, let go of how we think things should be, find what's empowering. So Uber, though it gets a lot of shit, it's empowering for the user because you can get somewhere you want to be really quick. And it's empowering for a lot of drivers who are like, I don't want to work every day, I don't want to be someone's cab slave, just running their car around.
Yeah.
So they're the beautiful, and I'm not saying it's the most spiritually conscious thing in the world, but it could be with a bit of tinkering. But there was, but you would have said that to Avis or Hertz, and they would have laughed you out of the room 5 years ago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's absolutely true. And so the MBA program then will be taking some of the stuff that, what would someone expect if they were to actually tell us when is it launching, where do they go get it, and what would the 12 months, it seems like you said, every other week you would have 2 podcasts. Is there any interaction with you? Tell us a little bit about the program.
So the first program, if you sign up to the first one, which I hope to start early October, if you go to ripeandready.com, so that's ripe as in spiritual ripeness, or avocados, depending on which way you look at it, ripeandready.com/courses, you will see it there. And look through it. Basically, the first 12-month version will be me live on 2 webinars a month, and then you'll have a third session with a smaller group of your peers working through the tools. So each month is based around these tools that I teach and use in corporations, which I'm giving away. You can then use them in your business, and one's on business model design, one's on brand strategy, one's on customer insight, one's on elevator pitch, one's on your leadership story, etc. One's on publishing, all these different things.
Right.
And so you come in, you can either be already running a project, or you can, perhaps someone wants to come on the program now.
Yeah, they're calling in right now to sign up. Can we sign up now? Hold on a second, let me get them online.
So you come on, either you've got a project already and you want to totally, make sure it's optimized and awesome, or you're just thinking, I just want to be a yoga teacher, I want to be whatever. Doesn't matter where you're at, you'll come out of it in a radically different place to where you are now, on these 2 levels: business idea, career, whatever it is, and yourself.
Right.
Because a lot of consciousness work is done outside of career. You do it in meditation, you do it in your life, maybe you do it in relationships, you do it maybe with parenting, but often there's a whole chunk of life, which is actually the biggest chunk we spend doing anything. We don't really bring our consciousness work into it. And that, for me, is crazy. So, join me. And then after the first 12 months, it'll be videoed and it'll be a MOOC. It'll be an online e-course. So the interaction will still be there with your peers. And I might do a clinic once a month for people to kind of phone in and talk. But only this first 12 months is going to be me live. Because I'm piloting it. So I believe in piloting things and prototyping them before you film 24 seminars. Let's make sure we've got exactly what the right stuff is and what people want and whatever.
I see, guys. So you're taking some of the stuff that you would be doing for corporations and you're going to be breaking it into 24 segments, of which the live interaction it will be live so that people can type in and ask questions of you. Yeah. If I don't understand what you said when you meant that.
And so what we'll do, in a 2-hour seminar, we'll do a bit of checking in and meditation and stuff, but not too much. Then we'll get into the topic of the day, so it might be business model. Let's talk about that because it's there. Then I will introduce the business model design tool that I teach and use. We will then have a break. We will then have use it as a practice with one person from the community live. and then we'll have questions and answers, and then we'll close out. And then that's the 2-hour seminar, and then in 2 weeks later, we'll have another seminar where we'll look at the sort of personal, conscious part of business model. What's your relationship to money? What's your relationship to scale? What's your relationship to social purpose? Do you believe you're big enough to have the business model you have? Do you believe that you deserve this kind of thing? You know, all the inside stuff.
Fascinating. Okay, got it. I get it now. So that's the first week is like business concept. Second week is like dive into your stuff, figure out what it is, get clear, you know, get conscious and aware of what you want. Yeah.
Like relationship to money, relationship to service, relationship to sales, relationship to speaking, all these things that stop us, which are nuts. The only thing, one of my start points in life is, the only thing that stops an entrepreneur from having their vision be real, and it may not be the way you originally thought it was going to be, but some version of your vision, could be a little micro version, but it doesn't matter, right? It's the beautiful thing you've created. The only thing that stops you is you and your fear, because there's always something else you can do.
Yep.
There's always another 100 things you can do, if I'm really honest. And I tell myself this sometimes when I'm having like, I can't run this crazy startup ambitious project anymore. It's like, okay, sleep, meditate, come back tomorrow, you'll have 5 more ideas. And you know, even if it ends up you getting another job, so you can still do this in your evenings, you can still do it. There's nothing stopping anyone apart from our own relationship to what we can do and our power. And I mean power in a really conscious way. You know, one of the key Thrive hacks that I teach, and I'll be teaching this later on in the 12-month program because it's a big thing, is the biggest insight really from the Bhagavad Gita, the Hindu classic, the Hindu spiritual classic, which is, and I really got this when I read Gandhi's version of it, and Gandhi basically said, this is what helped him do what he did. You've got to remember that you've got to let go of any of this thing being yours, whilst knowing it's totally you, and there's no one else in the world who can do this thing. And that created tension, that balance between hubris, belief that you as an individual can do something in the world that makes a difference, and humility, knowing that it's nothing to do with you and give it up and surrender.
Right.
Balancing those two on a daily basis is part of what this MBA program is going to be about.
Yeah. Love it.
It's beautiful. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, really exciting. Okay, we've been talking to Nick Seneca Jankel. We've been talking about Switch On, how to ignite your creative spirit with the new science of breakthrough. So ripeandready.com. Is that what you said? So go to ripeandready.com. This is a really good primer for, you have 2 different weeks, but the second week of it, when you look at your personal stuff, I presume you'll be kind of taking stuff from your book, Switched On.
A lot of stuff in the book, exactly. Yeah. So basically, the book, that J-curve in the book, we'll be going through that over like a year, and then the J-curve in my corporate work will be going through it the other workshop. Basically.
Oh, so fun.
There's other Switch On stuff as well. There's a 21-day video course. There's a coaching kit. There's loads of things on there in the Switch On brand.
Yeah, so there's a website as well from Ripe and Ready, and then is there a Switched On website as well?
Switch On is one of the strands within Ripe and Ready. So
okay, got it.
You'll see all the things I'm getting into, the dance stuff, the Bhagavad Gita stuff, or the whole thing.
Okay, got it. So thank you so much for being here. You've been listening to the Fired Up with CJ show. You can find us on YouTube. You can find us on Facebook at the Fired Up with CJ fan page. You can find it on my website, www.firedupwithcj. Thank you so much for listening, folks. And make sure to sign up for Nick's course, ripeandready.com. It's called the Switched On MBA program.
Switched On MBA, yeah.
Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great week.
It means so much to me that you're listening to the show. Would love your support in any way by giving me comments below, or to subscribe to the show, or share the show with friends. Thank you again for your support. Love and blessings.